It's 11:30, a few seconds past. Um, I'm going to start this meeting, the official part of the meeting. We enjoy the 20 minutes ahead of time for socializing. And Sheila, you're not only a good moderator for our content, I believe you're also an excellent moderator for social stuff. So thank you very much for being available for all of these wonderful things here. We had a board meeting earlier this week on Monday, and there were a couple of things that we would like to bring to your attention, and Mike will do that in a moment. But other than that, I'd just like to officially start the meeting. I also like to welcome all of you. I'm happy to see our good friend and member, Christian Boyce, giving the presentation today. We're very happy that you do it on a monthly basis. We're always looking forward to your presentation. So this will be an exciting meeting. And Mike, you're next to talk about what is going on and so forth. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Eckhart. Let me just share my screen. So this is going to be a slightly longer collection of announcements than usual because, as Eckhart mentioned, we had a board meeting just a few days ago, and there are one or two rather interesting things happening, which we need to discuss with you. First of all, as ever, please, if you have any questions or comments following today's meeting, I've set a thread up on the message board now. It's called When Things Go Wrong, so it'll be easy to find. And if you could place your comments or questions in that thread, that would be fantastic. Now, it's a wee while since NMUG put its prices up, and because of inflation and because of some other increased costs, it was decided at the board meeting this week that we would be raising dues from the 1st of January next year. Now, we want to respect and honour every single person who's currently already a member. And we're going to do that by suggesting this. If you are already paying as a subscription member, in other words, if you're paying and the money's just taken from your credit card or whatever once every 12 months, the $30 fee will remain exactly the same. And if you're not already doing that, please do the following. Go to your name in the top right corner, click on the downward arrow, and then click on membership information. Click on resubscribe change plan, and then click on subscription membership. Now that will not immediately cost you $30 because you're all it means is that when your next subscription is due, it will be taken automatically from your account. So if there are no strings attached, you can cancel your membership whenever you want. So you're not kind of tying yourself into an eternity of NMUG or anything like that. But we felt that that was a really good way of saying thank you for being a member. And if you do this, your subscription will remain at $30 for as long as the new price, which will be $40, is in operation. So I hope all of that makes sense, but very easy, very quick to do, will cost you nothing. And in fact, it will save you money as of the 1st of January next year. So that's the first thing. Now, I've just had 20 minutes talking to this fantastic individual, Dennis, as I like to call him. Dennis DiGiacomo is with us at the end of this month on the 23rd, running a Q&A on security. And just a reminder, because I think most of you have heard of this by now, but if you have any security related questions, please send them to questionsanswers@icloud.com. And Dennis will do his very best to answer those questions on the 23rd of October. Now, this is particularly interesting to me because I've been having a bit of a moan because there are things that happen on our message board that make, I think, my life a little more awkward than it needs to be. And we discussed the message board at our recent board meeting. We've also had one or two emails from other members expressing, shall we say, non-delight at the way that, but I think particularly how older discussions are quite difficult to locate. And at the moment, if somebody answers a post, unless you go to the website to view that post, you can't see if anybody has actually answered it. So the current message board, the huge advantages of our current message board are obvious. Firstly, the site is integrated within our own website, and subsequently, a single login will get you into absolutely every feature of the website, so that you don't have to log into the message board once you're logged into the website. It is, however, as several of our members have pointed out to us, it's very slow to access because you've got to wait for the website to load, you've got to wait for the message board to load, and then you've got to wait for the new message to load. So it's slow to access. As I just mentioned, the Daily Digest only lists new posts. It doesn't list answers to old posts, which isn't helpful at all. So older discussions become quite difficult and buried to locate. Now, before we moved to this new message board, I cannot tell you how much time Dan has spent trying to make the message board mirror the service that we were receiving for groups.io, and I think he's got it to a point where he can't get it any closer. The differences are these. With groups.io, firstly, it's an email service, so it's incredibly fast to use. So if you want to ask a question, all you have to do is open an email and send it to naplesmug@groups.io. It couldn't be faster. So it's very easy to use and it's very easy to manage. It has incredible search facilities, and daily digests include absolutely all new posts, and these include replies to earlier posts. The only downside that we can think of is that it does require a separate site. Because it's a separate site, it does require an additional login. That said, I've managed one for Suffolk for X years now, and I simply don't go on. I very rarely visit the site online. I simply use emails because all of the information I need is sent to me on a daily basis. So I don't actually need to go online anyway. So there we are. We want to know what you think. And to that end, Dan has prepared a poll. There will be a link in the newsletter this Friday, which will take you to a really simple form that just says, what's your preference? Would you like to stick with the message board on the website? Would you prefer to go back to groups.io? Or don't you mind? So it's one of three boxes. Just tick one of those, and the job is done. And if everybody present with us at the moment does that, that will give us huge insight into what you guys think, as opposed to what we think as a board. So please look out for that and hit the appropriate button on Friday. Thank you very much. Next week, Jason Snell is back with us. Fantastic. And he's talking about the US versus Apple. And as it says here, the US Department of Justice, 15 states, and the District of Columbia sued Apple on the 21st of March, 2024. Whilst Jason isn't a lawyer, he's written extensively about Apple for 30 years and has just read all 88 pages of the full complaint. And he just wants to talk about his feelings about that document. So it should be an absolutely fascinating meeting. So that's same time, same place next Wednesday. And finally, we welcome Christian, or rather, I would like to now put you in the safe hands of Sheeta, who will just talk about questions and also introduce our fabulous speaker for today. So let me just stop my share.
Thank you. And,
All
and
yours.
our fabulous speaker is going to have to wait maybe 30 more seconds because I want to say if you do have questions for our fabulous speaker today, please put those questions in the chat. We will get to them as soon as appropriate. And as for our speaker upcoming, Dennis DiGiacomo, I spent 20 minutes talking to him while I was in the grocery store. So that is not anything about security. It's never a 5-minute answer. And sometimes I have to just say, Dennis, I got to go. So please send your questions. They will get answered. He's so looking forward to this. So please send your questions in, put them in the thread on the website, or send them to questionsanswers@icloud.com. And with that, I want to hand it over to another person who I would probably spend 20 minutes talking to in the grocery store as well, who is just a wonderful person. And thank you for joining us again. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Christian Boyce.
Okay, well, thank you. As always, it's really nice to be here, and I think I might enjoy these Wednesday mornings more than anybody else on the other side. So, Sheeta, thanks for doing what you do. People get your questions in the chat to Sheeta, and she'll interrupt if it's such a great question at that perfect time. She'll interrupt me. Okay, so today we're going to talk about something a little different. Usually what I come in and talk about is how to do great things with your Mac or your iPhone, how to get more out of them, fun things. Today we're going to kind of not do that. We're starting here and I'm trying to take you to there. Well, today we're starting low where things have gone wrong. I'm trying to get you back to ground zero. And the reason I have the knowledge to do this is because I've been helping people with their Macs since my first Mac, I got first Mac in 1985, and instantly was helping other people with theirs, teaching them things, showing them things. And now I'm at a point where a lot of people think they know what they're doing with their machines, and they kind of do, but things go wrong, and then they ask me to help them get fixed. So, almost 40 years of doing this, and I'm going to boil it down to an hour. So, save yourself 40 years, all right? So, but I do have to say one other thing about those 40 years. 40 years ago, I was a grad student, and structural engineering grad student, and I'd won a little bit of money in a scholarship contest, and I had a chance to buy a computer. And I asked my dad, what would you do? Which one? And the choice was down to this Apple Macintosh Plus or this Zenith computer. Believe it or not, Zenith was making computers, and the Zenith ran MS-DOS, looked like a computer, had a black screen with orange letters. And my dad said, get the Zenith. He says it's 5.25 inch floppy disk, compatible with everybody. Get the Zenith. And for me, young grad student, only 4 years old at the time, 40 years ago, I went against Dad's advice for maybe the only time I can remember, and it turned out great. I bought the Mac. And here we are. So if I hadn't made that turn, someone else would be here today, and who knows what they'd be talking about. So, all right, with that, let's talk about what goes wrong. We're going to talk about two kinds of problems here. So hopefully you see my screen. Yes, when things go wrong.
We do. Okay,
two categories today. We have Mac things and we have iPhone things. The iPhone things will kind of double up with iPad things because they're so similar. But let's start with the Mac stuff. So the Mac section. This is really in no particular order. It's a collection of problems that have that show up either in an email or on the phone where people ask me these questions the most. So here's the worst of them and how to fix them. Our first problem is I can't print. Happens all the time. Now, it turns out if you ever want to do troubleshooting, the answers are almost always very simple when you finally figure out what the question really is. So we need to figure out when you can't print what kind of problem you really have. So first thing to do is to try to figure out, can I print anything at all? Or is it just this one document that won't print? Okay, so you try printing something else. And now you wonder, it turns out your printer can be paused because the jobs stack up on the Mac and